In our spiritual life, we're cognizant 24 hours a day of everything that's ever happened in our life, before, during, and after. We're aware of the endless universe that people still call God, a divine providence. And when you're in the very spiritual depths of this eternal quietude that you'll be in forever from here on in, because you were there, we're just going to deal with the intricacies of living a life in this world while you're spiritual. It's very complicated, isn't it? But for the spiritual, as we're beginning here, you're aware of everything. I think somewhere the other day someone said that there were 60,000 neural synapses in the heart that were similar to the brain, so you see and feel and understand everything with your heart, and of course you do. All spiritual people can feel their birth. I can be there at 5 weeks old now, and 2,000 years before, 5,000 years from now, because there is no time. You're always cognizant of everything. And this is a transcendent place to be. When you're spiritual, you do understand you're very, very capable and competent in every area, and your only problem from birth to this point has been humility. You're very quiet, very kind, and you're always waiting for someone to bring into the fold, right? Isn't that what you've been waiting for all of your life? Despite the horrors of our life here, we just want to bring this one or that one that we know is kind of spiritual or gifted. We just want to somehow get them and take them into this perfect place of ours. And 24 hours a day, the world around us works against that, doesn't it? And it gets very, very complex. And we're very, very calm about it, aren't we? Even when it's tremendous pain and trauma. We never take it out on anyone else, do we? And that's what a spiritual person is. They never put it on anyone else's doorstep. You know exactly what I just said. And it gets very convoluted and very complex and unimaginably painful. And sometimes actually humiliating. But you'd rather be humiliated yourself than to hurt the feelings of someone you trust and care for that is spiritual, but not quite on board. Your gifts are eternal. So that we waited this long is not the important factor. The important factor is that we have that power to wait this long, to help, to heal, to redirect, to correct, to cleanse the lives and souls of an entire world. Why not? You know deep in your heart and soul and in your gut, you know that's why you're here. If you're spiritual, and then you're cognizant of all the different worlds and planes of beings, and the quiet friendship you have, the relationship you have with God, with the one you love in your life, your children, your pets, that purity of emotion is the very touchstone, the very beginning of who and what you are, isn't it? And it's forever, isn't it? And you're never going to leave that place, are you? This is the transcendent plane that we are based in, that we exist in, and from which we can deal with all the horribleness of the so-called material world that we live in. All spiritual people fall back in their easy chair, on their bed, on their couch, taking walks, hikes through the woods like Thoreau's Walden Pond, or these great works of mysticism are aplenty out there. They're everywhere. Pick one up, read one, study one, and realize that this person, Thoreau, Emerson, they felt what we feel. They simply knew how to put it in words. And today's words are that we can fold the whole thing up forever, not just for ourselves, but for everyone and forever. It's just time for that. It's simply by dealing with your gifted nature. My buddy here is very gifted psychologically, in so many ways, and yet has a deep calm spiritually within him of Godness. And I think all he wants to do is quiet this thing down enough. And by understanding what we're talking about today, I know that that will be done. It's a time and a day and an hour and a place and a second for all of us to know who and what we are, our destiny, our reason for being. And if we're spiritual and in the world today, our reason for being is to end the madness for everyone. We're not concerned about the social, political atmosphere, science, the technology, anything. We live beyond it all. Everything that's hard and fast in the world need not be. When you're spiritual, when you're illumined, you look through everything all day and every night, don't you? I'm simply asking that we reside a little more deeply in the quiet place. And we'll see and feel everything we've ever known, believed, imagined of the spiritual nature. And we're in touch with all the souls of all the great ones that ever lived, because we're one beingness, one purity before our Father God. And we look at God with utter, unimaginable humility. And God looks at us with utter, unimaginable humility. And we know we're here to do something great. And we've never been given the opportunity, have we? And it won't come as long as the world is. So we have to end the world to have the opportunity. And it's in perception. We get quiet enough, we'll feel the heart pangs we've had from early on to now to adjust to this crazy world we live in. And we've all had memories of past lives and so forth, or realize that the world is constructed of thought forms. It's not even real. There's nothing solid. All my spiritual buddies that I know, or friends, or my teacher Kathleen, I feel her the last 60 years, every moment. I'm just in awe of someone that spiritual. I could never look at her when I knew her, because I'd look down like that, because when you meet someone like that, changes everything in you. Your lust, your desires, your pangs, your fears, they're all gone. You live and die for that Holy One that my teacher is, that my mom and dad are. After they pass, after a while, they all boom, they all disappeared back into the quiet. And I always feel them there. And I have 4 sisters and my brother James that died from Vietnam. And my sister Geraldine, or she just passed too, but one of the other sisters will say, Mom told me to call, and we'll talk. It's like Greg's parents. I feel them all the time, and certainly Rob's mom. And my buddy Trevor here he was born in the quiet and somehow lives a hard charger life in the world and the computer industry and all that. I don't know how people do that, because I've never looked at a computer, never been online for anything. I really do live a spiritual life. I'm saying that for all of us, that you don't need anything behind you. You don't need to achieve. You don't need to progress. You need to be quiet. And then everything is thought form, and things will work out for you. As astounding as that might sound, it's in the heart and soul of many, many people. You are the soul and the heart of many, many people. You're not alone. We are not alone. That which we call God is always here. And it's an unimaginably beautiful, pure sense. And in that now, I look at it very directly. There's nothing I don't know or can't see, and there are universes, but they're all of a spiritual nature. This world is truly a unimaginably minute. It's a splinter of a subatomic particle, and then a trillion times less than that. When you're spiritual and you reside in the quiet, you'll know this. And the more time we spend alone, and the more we mix these, our perception, our psychic, spiritual perception, our loving heart, the more we allow them to blend, the more we'll see and understand everything. I know I can change anything and have so many experiences in my life of anything around me, and many times it's years in the process to absorb, to understand, to comprehend. And I have a best friend that I won't tell do this or that, and when I see things are wrong, and I just accept it. And months or a couple of years later, I know that that's the moment that can be resolved. You see what I'm saying? And with people that are always going to be an idiot, let that be. Give it nothing, and it'll dissipate and disappear, and you'll be back in the Pure Land, as the Buddhists called it. I know when I lived in India a long, long time ago, or Nepal, and I'd be up in the mountains, I prayed for all the Tibetans that were murdered over a year, and I felt the bodies pass through me one at a time, and moments and seconds, sometimes 10 at a time, and I had candles lit 24 hours a day at my little place in Dehradun, and some incense, and I was certainly near death. I was so sick from living on the cow's milk up there, and with all the germs and so forth. And but you're in the Pure Land. You're happy, and I knew, that like they used to talk about Shangri-La and the place with the lamasery in the mountains off, and you're in Tibet, and you go there, and that people live for hundreds of years. But that's I always knew that wasn't the Pure Land. The Pure Land was always, the word Shangri-La was a place that is in your psychology. You're there now. You can never leave. You are the Holy One we've waited for. We accept that humbly and quietly, and we simply know that it is. We can't talk about it with our friends or neighbors. I certainly can. You have to eat it when you're in certain conversations with people. And that's okay, because you'll eat it. And you're waiting for that precious one. I knew months before I met my teacher, Kathleen, I just knew no one would ever help me with my work, even though there was nothing I could do. And I've helped so many dozens and dozens of other people in their writings, their books, their foundations, and but I was so quiet inside and didn't know, well, anyway, that I was told she would come, and then when he came, then I got my books done and all that, and that's why I'm here now. For I think Edgar Casey said, you'll enter heaven upon the elbow of someone you've helped. So wait for that one to help that one. I know I've helped thousands of people in my life, and what I'm saying this is for all of us. We know who we are, and we know how hard it is to make our mark in this world spiritually. I help all my friends and loved ones with their family, their businesses, whatever, and no one's ever thought of directly being there for me in this work, except for my friend Kathleen. Other people do this or that, the other. I'm not insulting anyone. I'm simply saying, when you're in this deep quiet, you know that God himself can move through you and transform the whole world. And you will do this. You'll know this. You'll feel this. You capture this in your gut, don't you? There's nothing wrong with you. Everything is thought form. If you give it nothing, it'll just waft off of you. And then you'll always see this clarity, this beauteous, God-lit air that's about us all the time, that's transcendent of everything. Nothing will be solid to you. So you haven't been crazy, and many of the people that are deeply spiritual in the old days, I guess they put them away in homes because they're not really here. The physicality of it all, the pain, the trauma, the lust, the ego, the pride, and John said, and The book of John in the Bible is like, it talked about the pride of life and the pride of the flesh and the pride of the eyes. In other words, you don't have to know, all my buddies are professional fighters for a reason, and we're all best friends, but they're all, but I see a lot of people trying and just, they want to be a fighter or this, they want to be a tougher guy or more attractive woman, and let it all go. I'm not saying don't discipline yourself in every way. I'm saying discipline yourself to let it go. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to be anyone. I've never said this, but I'm given to say it. You will be God. You just let it happen. Fear nothing, no one. No, your only problem has been humility. You let things happen because you're not going to make a stand or a big fuss over things, and yet you see everything at the same time, don't you? I see all the lives of all the people ever lived, but that's nothing. In other words, it's a shell game of there are hundreds of millions of parts, but boom, you don't relate to that. You don't relate to the air or the weather or time or circumstance or all the pain and tragedy you've gone through. Don't relate to that. Don't relate to the geology of the world. There is no place. Don't relate to time. There is no time. No one out there is anything. The doctor, the lawyer, the Indian chief, we used to say when I'm growing up, there were those archetypal images of people do this or that. There's no baker. There's no laundromat. There are no quarters. There's no places. There are no physical bodies. Just realize, let it all go. There are no stars in the sky, literally. When you're spiritual, that's part of this. Anything that's fascinating is the devil. And it's an actual force. If you look way beyond it all, you'll see this ugly, this scary, scary being that's projecting all this stuff. And it's so absurd. So when you get quiet enough and you'll have these things and they're very scary then, and you will do combat with very powerful beings. But when you understand that it's all thought form, you'll get 100,000 imprints of it in your mind, but let that go. You see what I'm saying? You can look through it all right now. Let's do that. I'm going to count back from 100 to 90, at which point we're all going to be in the Pure Land forever. We'll let go of all perception, all thought, all experience, even this beauty in the air that we call God or holiness. We're going to let go of that. We're going to be there at 90. No perception, no thought, no breath, nothing. No consideration, no perception. You'll be as God is at 90, because you are. And that's why you're here, to heal the whole world forever. Because you can. Just the breathing, relax the shoulders, the joints, the elbows, hips, the knees, the ankles, the fingers. Just relax every joint in your body with your mind and you'll instantly feel calm. Complete peace at 90. And despite the beauty of it, we'll drop through that sense of peace to something unimaginable. That's you. You're part of that. You always were. To the spiritual, these few short years are like a bubble in the stream, like a flash of light in the sky. We're there at 90 forever. Relax the breathing, the muscles, the body. 100. $99. 98. 97. Don't believe anything you see or feel or think. This is not here. 96. You are as God is forever. All pains are healed. Your many spiritual gifts will arise from moment to moment in your life, but you will reside in the Pure Land forever. You're here to unconfuse the whole world forever. That's the mission. That's what you are. And as great as that is, we have no thought about it. Just the quiet. 95. 94. 93. 92. You're the one the world has waited for so very long. 91. 90. 'This thought will not leave your heart and soul. We've simply reminded ourselves of the why and the what of being here. Details will just unfold and unfold. The quiet will become more profound. The evil attacks will become sillier to us. And a great joy will be to have a friend from time to time that we can actually communicate what we feel. And that'll be like ice cream on a Sunday night. You are the holiness of God. All the subtle affronts of your heart and soul and your confidence that have been hitting you since birth are gone in a flash, in a moment. You've gone through all the hells of the world to understand what it is so you could communicate to people, to help them out of, to lift them out of whatever it is. Because you've gone through it all, haven't you? They can't hit you with anything else, can they? They can't get more dumber. It can't get dumber. It can't get sillier or more horrible, can it? But we don't relate to that. These words are simply said to remind us this is an empowerment session. You'll do this to friends and loved ones over the years, and the years will disappear. If I want to go 100 years from now in the future, I'll go there. There's nothing here. If I want to see Thoreau or Walt Whitman writing Leaves of Grass, I can be there now. Or out in the deserts of Samaria, or the Holy Lands, or the mountaintop retreats, or my grandmom's home across from me in the tailor shop when we're growing up in South Philly. I can be there. I always felt guilt that I couldn't be with her more as a little boy, and and all that resolves when that's part of what the world does to you, is make you take your confidence in simply being quiet and calm and happy. It's so silly, so unnecessary, such a tragedy. And you're here to uninvolve everyone with everything forever, and then there are no words for the beauty in your heart and soul, and the dignity and power and the courage and the heroism. For you to have gotten this far in this world, we all get hit with it around the clock. The spiritual, we just keep it within. We never put it on anyone else's doorstep, do we? So we live it all, and today is a day to not let go of it, but to take it on for those that we respect in our environment. And the others, we don't give it anything, and they can't fight us. It's enormous. My buddy Greg, who's a 10th degree martial artist, and you can't scare him. But it's on top of that, not because he's tough or my buddies do that, but because he's spiritual in his heart. That's why my friends who do all kinds of things are spiritual. Otherwise, I don't want to be near it. I don't want someone that has a little thing under there that enjoys doing whatever they do. I want to meet a man that's a man, a woman that's a woman, a mommy that's a mommy. We wake up every day, we pray to God for our mommy's happiness. If we're 2 years old, as I did, the same prayer, I'll get at the side of my bed and pray for my mommy, my daddy, my Bubby, my grandmother, and my 4 sisters and brothers, and then all the good people in the world. And I thank God for everything. But not in a way that I wouldn't look for God. I never knew how, because it was just that presence was always there, because the person you are, the child at the bedside of you, in the morning prayer, or you've always been this presence. That's why you can't figure it out, because you are God. You've allowed yourself to fall into this hell to heal it. It's infinitesimal, unimaginably nothing in an otherwise lovescape of eternity. It's so enormous. And that's why we can handle all the things of the world and not take it serious and realize it's thought form and not react to it and let it go. And that's it, it's all over. Because you care. Let it go. There's nothing to react to. Not even the beauty, not even the quiet. God bless your destiny. Thank you for listening.